What's up, guys? So let's talk about your meat. I hear so many people, talking about prepping without rule of law, SHTF, and they're always talking about guns, talking about gear, and that's the fun stuff, right? Talking about who you'd let in, who you'd let out, but feeding people's a pretty big deal, right? Feeding you, feeding your family, feeding people. So let's talk about meat prep. I don't know what you do. I just wanted to give you some ideas about what I do. So we have, I think I started my very first deer hunt with my dad at 9 years old. I went on hunts since I've been born. I got my first Daisy Red Ryder when I was like 5. But I started actually going on the hunts when I was 9. And so from at least as far back as I could remember, we've always processed our own meat. And my dad always figured that we would be cleaner than the butcher. And at that time, we didn't have a lot of money for a butcher. So anyway, let me show you kind of some of the things that we use. So this is some of the knives. This is not all of the knives. They're F-Dick knives, most of them. These are some old butcher shop knives, Kai cut. There are some Dexter Russells in here. Let's see, what else do I got? Some of these old knives, I love these old knives. I've had this one since I was 15. A friend of mine gave it to me. And actually, same friend gave me these Kai cuts as well. And they're amazing knives. I don't even know who the maker is. But anytime I can find these old wood-handled carbon knives, I always buy them. I have steels, so this is a, grooved. It's not a diamond, but it's grooved. And it's for hot meat. And this is, that's for cold meat. This is a smooth steel, and it's for hot meat. So I found that whenever you get an edge on a knife, if you will constantly maintain that edge with a steel, you won't have to put that edge on there very much. Anyway, so these are some of the knives that I use, okay? Most of them are boning knife configurations, like this, because this is probably these right here are probably the ones that I use the absolute most. And then when I'm going to cut bigger things, I might use a butcher style knife, or tougher things, this old cold steel long hunter. But these knives, F-Dick knives, Victorinox knives, Dexter Russell knives, those three are the three that I'd recommend. Those three, the knives are about 15, 20 bucks a knife, right? I think these boning knives, which is what I use probably the most, I don't skin with these knives because they go dull really easy. So I bone it out and then I chop it all up with this, okay? I think these are $13 a knife. And, to have 10 of these is a good thing, okay? 100 bucks worth of these knives. If I was saying, end all be all, I would have, 10 of this style boning knife, maybe one of this style butcher knife, and then these, the sharpeners, okay? Then we have several ice chests. This one's an Orca. This one actually was it was a new Orca, and I had it on the back of my brother's truck. And I got up to 110 miles an hour, and it fell off and skid down the road, so it's got these burn marks. But it works really well. And this is where we put our meat. Right now I got 3 deer that we're doing mine, my dad's and my brother-in-law's, that we've shot over the last few days. Here's a tip. I say last few days, last couple of weeks. Here's a tip. Here's what we do. If it's cold enough, we'd like to let the deer hang for, 5-6 days. Get the skin off of it and let it hang. Keep it out. We have a storage building that we can put them in. And if it's cold enough. If it's not cold enough, then we quarter them out, bone them all out, put them in the ice chest, and then for deer only, we put salt on them. And we let that salt soak in, and it sucks all that blood out of there, gets that gamey taste out. I thought that was just a tip. Anyway, some other things that might really help you out when you're thinking about this food preparation is like a big grill, right? We got this big smoker, and it has the potential and the ability to feed a lot of people. And so that's pretty important. Let me move through here and I'll show you some other things that are kind of important to have. So here we have a grinder. I actually have 2 grinders. So our big grinder is this one. It's the Cabela's number 12. We're just getting it all out, getting it ready. We've got a meat scale so that we can weigh it. We've got the meat tenderizer and cuber. Right here I've got a meat mixer, and then I've got these big pots and pans that we do the meat mixing in. And so we bought the grinders brand new from Cabela's, and we started with a little one and got a little bigger one. That number 12 right there does more than you can handle. And then we just started slowly. We add something every year. So we had new knives, we had new cutting boards. We added the mixer so that we could mix up. What we do for our hamburger meat is we used to get beef fat and chop it up and put it in with the deer or the elk so that it would stay together. And then we found out that was kind of gristly. My wife and kids hated it. So what we started doing is getting 70% lean beef, and we'll do like 2/3 deer and then 1/3 of this 70% lean beef, and then mix it up. And then the same thing, like if you're going to make a stuffed sausage, we'll just use straight deer, but we'll put the seasoning in there and use that mixer and mix it up. So that's how I do that. And we got the sausage stuffer. I think this year we're going to look at trying to get a bandsaw. And we're working on being able to get a walk-in cooler and a whole area to be able to do this. Right now, as you can see, we're kind of remodeling, but this is my parents' house, and we're remodeling one room, but we're taking it all out. So we come out here, we'll bone it all out right here, take it inside, clean it all up, and then package it all up. We got the Cabela's professional sealer, and then I can show you this is kind of how we live and eat here. I mean, this is full of meat, and most of that is game meat. So anyway, we take it serious. If it's at all possible, we eat as much wild game as we possibly can, and hopefully it's making us healthier for it. It definitely tastes better and goes along with our love of the outdoors and hunting. So anyway, guys, I know some of this was just some long rambling, but I just wanted to show you, give you some thoughts to ponder on about your meat prep. There's a couple hundred in knives, a couple hundred in grinders, $2,000 or $3,000 worth of stuff that we just add to every year. And we've been doing it for a few years, and it might help you out. Anyway, ponder on it.